The name of that great song is called "Fight Like a Girl," and that was written and recorded by my special guest today, Raye Zargaoza. Raye, welcome to the Friday afternoon music mix.
Hi, Gregory. Thank you so much for having me.
It's absolute pleasure. I had your most recent release, which is called "Woman in Color," was sent to me by your radio promoter, and back in almost a year ago. And I just was knocked out by it. I just thought it was just such great music, and also the lyrics, everything that you had with it was just terrific. Um, I want to talk a little bit about how personal, how deeply personal this
Mhm.
this release is to you. I mean, listening to the lyrics and going down through the songs here, it's obviously your heart and soul are in this.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think writing this album was, like, so many years in the making, and it was kind of a way of me processing a lot of my own insecurities and my own kind of, like, coming of age and figuring things out, especially as a woman of color in American society, and, um so I really wanted to write an album that was about not only my story, but also the stories of my ancestors and my mother and a lot of the different feminine energies around me. And so I think a lot of these songs, writing them was almost painful because it felt like this healing process of having to like get these dark parts of myself or these insecurities like out. And so yeah, it was definitely like the most personal music I've ever written, and it also like felt really good to get that out.
You came right out of the chute with the first song called "Change Your Name," and
Yeah.
it kinda made my hair stand up on end because obviously, it sounded like it was about your mother, but I wasn't sure.
Mm. Yes, yes, that song is pretty much verbatim my mother's immigration story. She moved to the United States from Japan when she was 3 years old, and so I knew I wanted to write a song about her for this record, and so I sat her down and just basically asked her to tell me everything she remembered about the moving process at 3 years old, and I created this song out of the, like, kind of bits and pieces of her memories, um, of of moving to the US.
You did a great job. It's just I mean, like I said, I listened to it and I went, "Oh my god, this is just incredibly personal,"
Oh,
and,
thank you.
yeah, and, um, I wanna point out too that the name of the album, is called "Woman in Color." It was released in June 2020, and it, was on the, NACC chart, which stands for North American College and Community Radio
Mhm.
chart, for 8 months, and it was
Mm.
18 weeks as the number 1 CD. Congratulations,
Wow.
and yeah. In addition to that, I think you got an award, didn't you, for, a song that you wrote, back in 2017,
Mhm.
um, which concerned the Dakota Pipeline Access,
Mm.
I listened to it, it's beautiful, called "In the River."
Mhm.
And, let's see who that was given the, Honesty Oscars for Best
Mhm.
Song Award. Congratulations, that's
Thank
great.
you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, I told you before we talked that on the air that, I could talk to you for 2 hours with all the, accolades that you've gotten over the last few years, and, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about too is that, um, I admire you for the fact that you released this on your own label.
Mm. Mhm.
Which is, and most people can't do that.
Mm.
It's just the big companies have, got a stranglehold on that market.
Yeah.
And Rebel River Records is the
Yeah.
name of your label. And also, you got a guy that jumped out at me. I saw his name. I recognized him immediately. It was Tucker Martin as your
Mhm.
producer on this.
Yeah.
And this is no lightweight. I mean, he's
No.
done just, Nico Case, My Morning Jacket, The
Mhm.
Decemberists, on and on and on.
Yeah.
And what I have really noticed a lot over the last few years, Ray, is that the person who produces and engineers and records this makes all the difference in the world as to the
Yeah.
sound that comes out of this, and your record is so well produced. It really is.
Well, I agree. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Tucker Martine, so thank you so much for saying that. it was a dream to work with him. I've been a fan of his work I mean, for years, specifically because of Pilot. I love that band, and when I heard one of their songs, I, like, broke into tears, and I was like, "I don't know who produced this, but they are going to produce my music one day." And
Absolutely.
then it happened, and working with him was a dream, and I'm just so lucky because I think, as a folk singer, songwriter, we paint these very broad pictures with our music, and we have these almost like sketches with just a guitar vocal. I feel like I'm really good at crafting a very well thought out sketch, but in order to fill it in with all the colors and really bring it to life and animate it, I need a really amazing producer and engineer to take it to the next level. And Tucker Martin is literally like the best animator of music I know. I'm just such a huge fan, and so I was very fortunate to get to work with him to bring these songs to life.
He just it's amazing. When you listen to it, it is so crystal clear, and I noticed, on many of the songs, especially, one called "Fight Like a Girl" that we did at the beginning of this, the horn section that he has managed to
Mm.
bring us in, it's perfectly,
Mm.
integrated with the rest of the, music that's in
Mhm.
on the CD. Just
Mm.
wonderful. Yeah.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah. And speaking about, one of the songs. Let's play one that really jumped out and called "The It Girl," and
Yeah.
I know that was deeply personal as well. And I like the quote that you put in here. You said that basically, the it girl is whatever the hell they want it to be.
Mhm.
So basically, you're saying that. In spite of your color or anything else that
Mhm.
goes along with that, any
Yeah.
woman can be Clara Bow if she wants to be.
Yeah, exactly, like, the whole concept of being the it or, I think it's all just this manufactured idea of perfection that, like, society has given us when really, you get to decide what, your own version of the it girl or the it whatever is for you. And this song is kind of supposed to be really sarcastic and sassy because, we've all been told for so long that we're supposed to fit into something, especially in the music industry. And so this is kind of like my putting my middle finger up to the the standards of what we're supposed to be.
You did a good job. Let's hear that song right now, okay?
Yeah, awesome.
I could tell I was living in a world that wasn't made for brown-skinned girls. Just you wait, it'll be your turn. And in the mirror I would say to her, I could be the it girl, can't you see? I could be the face on the magazine. Paint me like a debutante, your prom queen. Pretty little it girl, yeah, that's me. Do you ever feel like everywhere you go, you're just an act in the sideshow? Just a friend, a second thought. It's time you give them everything you got. I could be the it girl, can't you see? I could be the face on the magazine. Paint me like a debutante, your prom queen. Pretty little it girl, yeah, that's me. Why would you wanna be like anybody else?
terrific, absolutely terrific. Um, the other thing I wanted to, talk to you a little bit about, oh, and let's mention your website because it's got some incredible videos on there, and that's let me spell this because I wanna make sure I get this right. It's Raye Zargaoza, and it's RayeZargaoza.com.
Yes.
And, oh, by the way, they can purchase directly,
Yes.
your, latest release, which is called Woman in Color, and then also there are, your this is your sophomore release, and the
Mhm.
first one was called, if I remember right, is Fight for You,
Yes.
and then Live at Rockwood Music Hall, and
Mhm.
then you had an EP that came out, Heroin,
Mhm.
and,
Yes, that was yeah.
yeah, and
So
then
long ago.
oh, yeah, and you were also, I saw, recorded on an album called Rising Appalachia.
I went on tour with Rising Appalachia.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that what that was? Okay, I wasn't
Yeah,
sure if
yeah,
you
yeah.
recorded with them or not. That sounds great.
Yeah,
Um,
we went on tour together. It was a really amazing tour. I miss it. It was my last tour before, there were no tours anymore, so
right.
it was so fun.
I saw also you did a show with a guy that an artist that I really like is,
Mhm.
William Elliott Whitmore.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, touring with him was so wonderful. That was like oh my gosh, he's one of the kindest souls I've ever met in my life. He is so sweet and so talented and dedicated to his music and his community, and, I really bonded with him and his wife. That was really a fun tour.
He's an incredible artist. I've been a big
Yeah.
fan of his for years and played his music on my show a lot, including I've got his latest release that I've been playing cuts from too as well.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing that jumped out at me, that I wanted to ask you about is, you mentioned the fact that, of course, we don't have live music here in
Mhm.
Northwest Washington either,
Mhm.
but I did see that you've got, a show on the 29th of this month called the Studio Apartment Tour Show,
Mm.
and that's gonna be at 6:30 PM, and that people can go to your website that we just talked about, which is
Mhm.
rayzaragoza.com, and they can purchase tickets, online there for the show.
Yes, yes, the studio apartment tour shows are very fun. Throughout this whole year, since there hasn't been touring, I've been basically doing my own tour throughout my apartment, which is 350 square feet. So I've been going to the couch and the closet and the kitchen and the floor and the bathtub. It's been a really fun tour.
Oh, I love your sense of humor. You're great with this. Um, the other thing that, I wanted to point out on that, that in the river, they can see that video, on your website, and it's a terrific
Mhm,
video that's there. Um,
mm,
the, one thing that you said there, in your song, that I really like, one of my favorites on your album is called "They Say."
mhm,
And I love this that the lyric, they say that folk music's for the elite, then
mm,
who's gonna sing for me?
yeah.
It's terrific.
Yeah, like, when I wrote that, I was thinking about, how much my goal with my music is to reach those who, maybe can't I think going to a concert in general, especially now, is, like, such a privilege, and,
Right.
to be able to take the night off work and to be able to pay for the 2 drink minimums or the expensive tickets, and I just remember being at one of my shows opening for a band and being really sad because I felt like there are so many people I'm trying to reach with my music who aren't here tonight because just to get through the door would be really expensive to pay for the art, to pay for the night.
Right.
And I just got really sad about it. And I just started to think about how, um, you know, there are so many parts of American culture that is so geared towards, those with more privilege, and I really hope that we can all build a way to, like, break down those barriers so that we can all have access to art and to music and to concerts, and so, yeah, that song was, like, my kind of like my plead for equality and to really take a good look at all of these structures that are in place that maybe we're not even realizing are, built on, that are really not equal.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. My special guest today is Raye Zargaoza, and her latest release, which came out in 2020, is called Woman in Color. Fantastic, and you can buy it on Raye's website at rayezargaoza.com. And you can also see her in concert, sort of, in her apartment
Yes.
tour, in the studio apartment tour, and that's on the 29th at 6:30 p.m. And those tickets can be obtained directly on Raye's website.
Yeah.
Raye, thank you so very, very much. Congratulations. I know we're going to be hearing an awful lot about you in the future. And
Thank
when
you.
and when COVID is hopefully behind us, which, who knows, um, and you're back on tour again and you come up and you do that route between Seattle and Vancouver, British Columbia, we're about
Mhm.
halfway. Would you stop and see us and bring your
Oh,
guitar and come in the
yes!
studio?
Absolutely. I love that drive, so I will
We'd
absolutely be back.
I would love to have you come in. It'd just be amazing show, and we'd have a lot of fun, and a lot of laughs. I know. There'd be no question
Yes,
about it.
absolutely.
Good. Well, let's go out with another song from the new album called Woman in Color, and this is called Rebel Soul. Thanks again, and come back and see us when you can get up here. That'd be great.
Thank you so much, Gregory.